We speak now to a black-owned fintech firm that is Tafari Capital. It's launched a digital finance and e-commerce platform, specifically though targeting SMME sectors that has often said to be overlooked. We're joined now by its executive Chairman, Dr. Thabo Lehlokoe. Very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us. Obviously very timely, as we mentioned, the ease of doing business during a time of social distances. But why, in your mind, did you think that this app, for you specifically, would deal with the SMME sector?
Good evening, Tepiso, and good evening to your listeners as well, to your your viewers. Look, the truth of the matter is that, and if what I see from the comments of the SMMEs regarding what they feel as exclusion of their exclusion in the participation of the economy, indeed there is an opportunity for something of this nature to become it's quite timely for us to get into the market and do something about it.
And that's what I'm thinking. I suppose during a time we saw that especially the informal sector was greatly hit. Those who sell their produce on the streets were shut out, even though there was an easing for bigger business. And that means that apart from the other challenges of not being able to do transactions, they weren't able to even make money. So how are you easing life for them in this case?
So in our case, what we're going to be able to do is that when the informal hawkers, for example, or want to set up an account, they would download our app, and in the app, as soon as they have downloaded it, they'll be able to set up an online store. It's a very simple process. So what they will do is that they'll be able to take photos of their vegetables or whatever service that they are offering or products. They just take a product and then they just put a price, and then as soon as that has happened and they click I'm done, and then they are online. They are able to then take orders directly.
So this would obviously, as we say, in line with social distancing. So that transaction, the multifunctionality, therefore means I don't need to be physically near you. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly. So which means then that if I'm sitting at home and I want to, to comply with the rules, and I want to buy vegetables for my Sunday, meal, I can just go onto the app, and then normally it'll also be there'll be some geolocation capabilities that will show who are the people within the area that I'm at, that I can actually buy certain products and services from. And I can order it there. And the advantage that if there's local SMME that have got their products on the platform, I'll be able to actually put an order from there. But what it also does is that in some cases, there's other people, local youth that are unemployed, that may then be brought in, and where you can be able to employ them as couriers to be able to carry the product and services to the houses of the people that have ordered. And this, depending on the distance, it can be through walking, or it can be through bikes or bicycles. You're actually, in addition to that, creating additional jobs that will allow money to rotate within the community itself.
Typically, a sector such as this, as we mentioned, that's been overlooked, would be a bit shy of having to deal with a platform which they would be unfamiliar with. So I'm talking about the risks here. How are you using big data analytics and artificial intelligence to at least, for instance, look at the users' on-platform behavior?
And that's one of the things that we do. And also one of the key components of it is that we want to be able to give people a service that is very easy to use. And also we will be able to analyze the behavior or some of the things that they find easier to accept. And then we'll be able to modify the platform accordingly to be able to accommodate such changes. and where it's proving difficult, we also, on top of this, want to work with other institutions that can come onto our platform for education purposes to allow people to feel at ease in dealing with technology. Because the way we are looking at it is to try and make it as simple as possible, almost as simple as buying airtime, which could also be one of the things that we are going to be putting on our services, so that people don't have to go to the stores or don't have to go anywhere to be able to buy simple services like airtime, top up their electricity, top up their DSTV, those type of things. They can be able to actually buy them on the same platform, which means there's very little need for them to actually have to go out to buy some of these services, which allows them then to comply with some of the lockdown regulations.
Quality website traffic has always been a challenge in e-commerce. How are you dealing with that, especially just in terms of the visitor conversion?
Look, as I'm saying, the way we are looking at it is that part of the technology will be able to track and trace to see how many people actually come and at what point, during their sales conversion, are they, do they stop or do they actually conclude with the transactions? And we'll be able, because normally, once they've registered, we can also be able to find a way of tracking and be able to maybe, send them reminders or, hey, we see you are interested in something like this. If there was a problem, you try to see if you can help to solve the problem. Maybe they didn't understand something or they didn't like something about this. There'll be an ability also for them to be able to comment about the service that they're getting on the platform, so that it enables us to get feedback and improve our service. Clearly, this will be an ongoing process, and since we're going to start, there could be some initial teething problems, but the fact that we are the ones who are building our own platform, we can be very quick to adapt and change according to the needs of our customers.
And I'm thinking beyond your customers, transparency is also big for those who will be engaging your customers. So the return and refund policy is a big part of the satisfaction experience. How is that going to be negotiated?
Yeah, that's very key, because there'll always be we will be working within the law. Remember, there's always that 7-day cool-off period. It'll be part of the terms and conditions. But at the same time, one of the other things that we'll be introducing onto the platform is it's a system that will allow people. It's an escrow system, whereby when you buy a product from our market, you will pay, but the payment doesn't go immediately to the seller of the product. It gets escrowed into a separate account, so that both it will leave the buyer's account, and the seller will be able to see that indeed first of all, you have money, and secondly, you have paid, and it's sitting in a third-party account. That gives the seller the confidence to say, okay, fine, then I can deliver the product. But also, once the seller has delivered the product, the buyer has the option as well of being able to check whether this product is what I've ordered, because some people may not actually give you what you have ordered. In which case, you can be able to reject the transaction and pull the money back. Or at that point in time, if the product actually meets your needs, you are then able to get the transaction approved, and then you can pick up your product. That way, we're giving comfort to both buyers and sellers that we are securing them in this situation, and they feel more comfortable in dealing with a platform like ours. But also, there'll also be some other rating. There's a rating system that will be included in the platform, whereby people will be able to rate the services that they are getting. And clearly, if you are a seller on the platform and you have been rated as somebody who's providing a bad service, you won't be getting any sales, because nobody would want to go with you. So it will be in your interest to be able to make sure that your ratings are high by providing good service.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. You can finish your point. Thirdly, you said, Dr. Lehlokoe?
Yeah, I was saying, thirdly, also, there is a verification service that will be running to make sure that the people, just like, on WhatsApp or Twitter, there's a blue tick that says this is an original, it's an actual account. We'll run a service like that on this thing to make sure that the people that are there are verified, that indeed they are who they say they are, to give comfort to people that they are not dealing with scammers.
All right. Thank you so much. Extending e-commerce and financial services to this SMME sector.